Disney movies are often lauded for their ability to entertain and amuse both children and adults. However, some fans of the movies take things a step further, coming up with dark and sinister fan theories about some of the characters and stories. While these theories may make for interesting discussion, they're ultimately nothing more than just sinister speculations. In today's video, we're going to be going over the most popular and the most terrifying Disney fan theories out there.
Now what?
Starting off with number 7. Marlin is going through the 5 stages of grief. At the start of 2003's Finding Nemo, we meet 2 clownfish, Marlin and his young son Nemo, the sole survivor of a predatory attack that took the lives of all of Nemo's siblings and Marlin's wife. Years later, Nemo is kidnapped by a fisherman, and Marlin embarks on a desperate quest to get his son back that takes him across the globe on a series of adventures. Or did he? According to a Reddit fan theory, Nemo died in the attack that took the lives of his mother and siblings. A broken Marlin was unable to deal with the loss, and so he imagined a single surviving egg that grew to become Nemo. The rest of the movie is then Marlin's journey through the 5 stages of grief to deal with the loss of his family. The first stage is denial, when Marlin refuses to accept his family is gone and conjures up the mental image of Nemo instead. Then comes anger, as Marlin is shown to get unnecessarily angry whenever Nemo does something remotely dangerous. The next stage is bargaining, which Marlin is forced to do constantly on his journey to get Nemo back from the fisherman. After that, Marlin moves on to the 4th stage, despair, when he is ready to give up the search for Nemo. Finally, there comes acceptance, as Marlin makes his peace with his family's death and learns to stop obsessing over Nemo.
I'm going to cheer you up.
But I'm already cheered up.
Number 6. Eeyore used to be human. As a general rule, Disney characters are happy-go-lucky creatures that keep a sunny disposition for the sake of their young fans. But there are some exceptions, like Grumpy, the surly dwarf from Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. And then there is Eeyore, Winnie the Pooh's donkey friend, who is always shown to be in a sad and hopeless state. Much literature has already been written about Eeyore's mental state and whether or not he is suffering from clinical depression. But one particular fan theory chooses to explore not whether Eeyore is suffering from depression, but rather how he came to be in such a state. The proposed solution? Eeyore used to be a real boy who was taken to the enchanted island shown in 1940's Pinocchio. There, Eeyore was turned into a talking donkey, just like all the other cursed little boys. Somehow, Eeyore managed to escape and found his way to Pooh and his other friends. But Eeyore could never forget the cruel twist of fate that had befallen him and spent the rest of his days in a state of depression over all that he had lost. Honestly, with such a tragic backstory, we can't say we blame him.
A special offer for today, I'll tell you what I'll do.
Number 5. Captain Hook killed Ariel's mother. Disney movies about princesses are notorious for not having maternal characters. Sure, you might get a father like the Sultan in Aladdin or King Triton in 1989's The Little Mermaid, but by and large, Disney princesses have to make do without the leavening influence of a mother. In that vein, Ariel the Mermaid also grew up without her mother, Queen Athena. In 2008's The Little Mermaid, Ariel's beginning, we find out that Athena was killed by a pirate ship, which ignited King Triton's deep hatred of humanity. Now let's move over to Disney's 1953 feature, Peter Pan, which showed a group of mermaids who were particularly afraid of Captain Hook and his crew of pirates. As one Reddit user points out, one of the mermaids in Peter Pan bears a striking resemblance to Ariel and her mother Athena, right down to the flaming red hair and emerald tail. It could be easily surmised that there is some overlap between Peter and Ariel's world, and that it was Captain Hook who rammed his ship into Athena and took her life.
Hey!
I'm so sorry. Are you hurt?
Number 4. Hans was never a villain. 2013's Frozen features one of the biggest storytelling upsets in the history of Disney. Prince Hans is initially introduced in the role of the stereotypical Prince Charming, who sweeps Anna off her feet. But at the end of the movie, Hans is revealed to be a villain who intends to kill Anna and Elsa to gain control of Arendelle. It's a nice little bit of double-crossing that sets up the film's theme of women not relying on men to solve their problems. But Hans's betrayal does come a bit out of the left field. Up until the final act of the film, Hans had been acting like a true hero. In fact, he even saved Anna when they first met, when she was about to plummet into the sea on a boat. Hans also saved Elsa when a guard was about to shoot her with a crossbow. As one Reddit user cleverly pointed out, what if Hans had started out genuinely good but was later brainwashed by magic to become evil? The rock trolls are shown to be able to use magic in a number of ways. They are also devoted to Kristoff and want to see him married off to Anna. What if the trolls had engineered a magical ruse that would lead to Hans and Anna breaking up in the most dramatic fashion possible, leaving the door open for Kristoff to get with Anna?
Gosh, it disturbs me to see you, Gaston, looking so down in the dumps.
Number 3. Gaston was the hunter who killed Bambi's mother. No one's slick as Gaston, no one's quick as Gaston, and it looks like no one's as much a killer as Gaston either. In the annals of Disney movie history, there's perhaps no greater villain than the unnamed and unseen hunter who killed Bambi's mom in the 1942 film About the Young Deer. The nameless hunter drew so much ire from the audience despite not having a single line of dialogue that the character was named one of the greatest movie villains of all time by AFI. Cut to 1991's Beauty and the Beast, where we meet another villainous hunter, the thoroughly obnoxious Gaston. At the start of the movie, we see a deer that looks very similar to Bambi's mother drinking water from a stream. Even the birds in the scene look like the ones in Bambi. Then there is the song Gaston sings in tribute to his own awesomeness, which includes the line, "I use antlers in all my decorating."
I use antlers in all of my decorating.
And we see a wall of animal heads from creatures that Gaston has killed over the years. Again, the deer whose head is mounted on the wall looks suspiciously like Bambi's mother. As the mirror points out, it is not difficult to believe that Gaston was the callous hunter who killed young Bambi's mother, which would give the character the rare distinction of being the main source of misery in two separate iconic Disney movies.
Princess Jasmine, you're very
wonderful, magnificent, glorious, punctual.
Number 2. Aladdin takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. The majority of Disney stories take place in fictional lands that seem to exist outside of time, but it is generally easy to pin down the era in which a movie takes place based on the background architecture and dressing styles of the characters, except in the case of 1992's Aladdin, where a curious anomaly seems to exist. At first, it seems clear that the film is set in ancient times, in the Middle East, but then you start to notice some anachronistic details about the way Genie talks. He complains upon being awakened that 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. But he also makes a bunch of references to 90s pop culture, like imitating Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jack Nicholson. According to this Reddit thread, what if the world of Aladdin is an arid post-apocalyptic society that was rebuilt from the ground up 10,000 years after a giant nuclear war that set technological advancement back to medieval times? To add further credence to this theory, the video game adaptation of Aladdin features traffic signs that did not exist centuries ago but could be the remnants of modern society in a post-apocalyptic world.
Kohat, my cruiser.
Sheepers, is she always this intense?
Number 1. Sergeant Calhoun had to kill her husband. 2012's Wreck-It Ralph was Disney's attempt to move their mythology out of ancient fairy tales into the modern era by telling a story about sentient video game characters. In the world of Wreck-It Ralph, gaming characters can interact with each other outside of their games, regardless of the genre or era of gaming they belong to. This gives us one of the most unlikely couples in Disney film history when Super Mario stand-in Fix-It Felix is shown to have fallen in love with Sergeant Tamora Jean Calhoun, who comes from the bleak and violent world of first-person shooters. And according to one disturbing theory on Reddit, we may have gotten a glimpse of just how deeply Calhoun has been affected by her game's unforgiving world. During her backstory flashback, it is revealed that Calhoun's soon-to-be husband was eaten by a cybug on the day of their wedding. This prompted Calhoun to unleash a barrage of bullets at the cybug. Things get darker when you remember that cybugs become what they eat. So it is highly possible that Calhoun was forced to kill her own husband on their wedding day. That's a wrap for this video. Do you have any other scary Disney theories? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. This